So you're not normally a morning person, huh?
Oh no, like this is a 9 a.m. to 11 slot. I'd much prefer a 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. slot, but it's all good. You know, we got the cold brew. I definitely had some coffee before I got here, so I'm not peaking. I wouldn't say like I'm peaking with the energy for the day. You
Right.
know, I usually just go like this and then like that at the end and go to sleep. But I'm doing pretty good for like 9:23 in the morning. So
Hey,
yes,
I'm glad to hear that, and I think by the end of this podcast, we'll circle back to that statement and see where your energy levels are.
Yep.
Because I'm thinking you'll be trending towards your peak quite soon. Yeah.
And I'm not going to be sitting here saying like, oh, we want you to peak
I appreciate
at the
that.
end of this podcast. We would like to just be the launch pad to actually peak later in the day. Like, what time of the day would you say you typically peak?
Later, like I would say. It's just,
Good answer.
Yeah, it's just late. It's usually when the sun goes down. Whenever that is, that could be here. That could be like 3 p.m. or 10 p.m. depending on the season. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, when the sun goes down, my energy goes up. So.
Well, fun fact: today's the longest day of the year. We have the most sunlight of the year today.
That is right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this should, in my theory, this should be my lowest energy level day, but I don't think that's true. So I should question myself on that. And then that thought, it's just a little bit depressing because now every day is going to be shorter starting tomorrow.
Yes, that's a great point.
So live your life to the fullest.
Yes. Yes.
And the day is still 24 hours. Like, let's not get too scared, but we are not going to get as much sunlight, which, I get my energy from the sun, not to brag, but that's just kind of how I'm a photosynthesis guy, always have been. But like, I think if there's less sunshine in the day going forward, and you're a guy who gets your energy or it peaks when the sun is down, I would say it's time for you to launch. Every day is going to get better for you.
Yeah, I mean, now that we've had this discussion, I am actually really just changing the way that I approach days. So
Yes, dude.
I appreciate you guys, and I appreciate you having me on the show. And I've followed you on LinkedIn. I think it was first like LinkedIn out of all places.
Yeah.
I feel like I haven't been on LinkedIn for like a month. I should probably just go and peek, check it out again. But I've watched a lot of your clips, and I've seen this couch before, and so I just appreciate you. And as I was saying, like I've been very interested in podcasts. I would say like over the last 5 years. So I appreciate being on the show.
Hey, man, welcome. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate you. I think we should tap into your creation story with the avocado. And you're going to open up a store here on June 25th. We're recording today's June 20th. This will be released in a little bit. I'm not sure the exact date.
We never know, but for anybody listening, it doesn't matter. Avocadish, right?
Yep.
Avocadish is open in Dinky Town June 25th. Go check it out. I don't even know what an avocado bar is, so we probably should start there.
Yes. June 25th, an avocado bar. Essentially everything on our menu has avocado in it.
Nice.
So, yeah, whether it's a smoothie, a toast, a cup, a dessert, there is avocado. You can always find the avocado. So,
I love that. That's awesome. Let's go with the creation story first. I'd love to understand how you became a avocado savant and how you kind of wanted to get the wheels to start this business.
Yeah, it's funny. Like that's such an important question, and like I dislike it so much. I get asked. I get it. No. I get it like asked a lot, and I was trying to think because that's like literally. If you're opening up a business, that's like a natural question that people want to ask you. And I was like trying to I was thinking about how I would answer this, and it's like you brought up a good word, and that's you called it like my creation, or I think you said creation, or maybe it was creativity. It's like just one of those type of words. And to me, like that's a really good way to describe it is like, I'm sure there's so many similarities to how I feel about Avocadish as you do feel about this podcast. And it's more of just like, it's my creative expression essentially. You know, like it's where and it was for me. It was a pursuit to kind of just live like a more free life with something. And I aligned it with I figured I would align it with things I like. So I've always enjoyed, well, I shouldn't say I've always enjoyed, but I do try, I try to eat, you know, healthier. I can be really bad at it at times, but I do try. And then I was on a pretty big Avo kick in 2018, and I was working a job in Kansas City, Missouri, and I just started working on a business plan for it. And see, I'm already going into like it's so like hard for me to answer like how I was feeling. When I was starting it, I guess.
When was that?
It was August of 2018.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
And what were you working at the time?
So I was working at a global food packaging manufacturing company in their ops. And so I graduated from the University of Minnesota in 2016. Okay. I was older. I'm probably older than I look. And so how old do you think I am, if you had to guess?
29.
I would say 27.
32.
All right.
Wow.
Yeah.
A spry 32.
A young 32.
Young, dude. Oh, young.
Yes.
Guy's got it.
Yes. Thank you. So I went to school at a more ripe age.
Ooh,
you know?
I like that.
Yeah, the word ripe.
Good word.
Ripe is a great word. I went to school at a riper age. I graduated, and I just took the second job that I interviewed for, which was down in Kansas City. And I had this idea in my head, like, I'm going to go to a new city and I can like reinvent myself, you know? Cause I was like, everybody, you know, they know you for the whole time that they've known you. Like that's how they know you, you know, like the friends that you've had since you were 10 years old, they know you from that chunk of time, like that entire time. And so like the idea of going somewhere new and just like meeting new people, and they're getting like the 2017 Alex, you know, like 2017 Alex is different than the 2010 Alex, and I want to show people that. And so I took the second job I interviewed for. I went down there, and I mean, I guess like a short version of it is it just wasn't what it was cut out to be for me, as far as like working and not being in Minnesota and all of those things. And so I was in KC for 6 months, and then I actually had the opportunity to transfer, and I transferred to Phoenix, and I lived in Phoenix. Shout out to you.
Yeah, absolutely. Dinky Tucson. Yeah. Phoenix is a trigger word for me right now, dude. I live there.
Wait, you said...
So I'm in Tucson, sorry, and I just love the Phoenix area. I've been traveling up there on weekends just to hang out and stuff in Scottsdale.
What's that road? It's one road up.
I-10.
I-10, and it's like 90 minutes, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Tucson is like crazy because there's no main. I bet half of your drive is like getting out of Tucson because there's like no main freeway to get. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It's partially true. What's weird about Tucson is it's not. It's a city. Like there's a downtown, but it's very like spread out, and it's a weird vibe down there, man. It's interesting when there's, I should say, it's a cool vibe, but it's weird because it's more or less a college town with the U of A there.
Yep.
So with no school going on right now, it's kind of just barren land.
Yeah, I guess most of the students are at home.
Yeah, pretty much.
In the surrounding Tucson suburbs or Arizona
supposedly.
Suburbs.
We don't know where they are. U of A, where are you at? Let us know. But anyways, you're working in Phoenix.
I was working in Phoenix, and I ended up being out there for a year, and I almost just got into this this life where I didn't feel rooted in the community. So like I didn't really feel like planting roots because I knew that I was probably going to be leaving, like, and it ended up being a year, and I figured it'd probably be like a year. And so I wasn't making friends, I wasn't mingling, you know what I'm saying? So I would just like go to work, and then I would just have like, escapes. Like I'd go do yoga after, which is that's like one of the good escapes, you know what I'm saying? But like I would just like get off of work and just like go to yoga and then come home, and maybe I was playing some Fortnite, I don't even know.
There you go.
Like going, swiping, going on too many Bumble dates, and just like it was terrible. It was honestly just like it was, and then it doesn't help in Arizona. Like the weather doesn't change. Like it's either just like it's either hot or just like really hot, pretty much. There's two. There's two. It's either like
and they have monsoon season where it rains for 2 weeks.
Yeah, and like treacherous rains, that just like flood the streets. But it doesn't help because everything just kind of turns into a blur. Like I like seasons because you can attach memories and time with them, and there it was just like I didn't enjoy it. And so I was gonna quit my job, but instead I booked a solo trip to Europe, and I booked so this was like July of 2018, so I was still down in Arizona.
2 years out of school.
2 years out of school. A ripe age of like 30 years old.
Nice.
A
spry 30.
A spry, limber.
Got a lot of yoga in him at this point.
Yeah, he's about as flexible as he's ever been. His down dog is in pure form.
It's really not. I can't touch my toes. I'm not even joking.
For real?
I've been doing yoga for like 3 years, and I can't touch my toes.
Dude, I'm right there with you, man. It's you and me both. Yeah.
Like,
oh man.
Okay. Maybe. Wow.
I gained flexibility
Actually,
post athletic career for some reason. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Oh well.
Spry.
Yeah,
okay,
spry.
so
heading to Europe.
Spry and ripe. Yeah. Headed to Europe. I booked. I had my first night in Madrid. So I was in Madrid, and then I ended up just kind of coasting and cruising around. And this trip was supposed to be like this self-searching. I'm gonna find all the answers to my life while I'm studying abroad. And it didn't turn in. It was nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? It was like nothing like that. It was great. But it was like I was just kind of meandering around through Spain, and then I went down into Portugal, and I wasn't kicking my jet lag. I was like going to sleep at 3 p.m., waking up at 10 in Portugal, and I was just kind of like, what am I doing here? What am I doing here exactly? So this goes somewhere, I promise. I'm in Portugal. I get on a bus headed back up to Spain, and there's like I go towards the back of the bus because I like to sit in the back of the bus.
Nice. All the cool kids used to sit in the back of the bus.
I think that's where that thought came from. You know what I'm saying? Like
I'm a cool guy.
Yeah, I gotta sit in the back, and it's kind of like take up a whole aisle and like put a bag on the seat next to me. Man spread. Just let people know that this seat is taken by me. And I'm also sitting on this seat, so I got both these seats, and this is how I like it. Anyways, I get on the bus. Man. I get on the bus. There's like a pair of feet just like sticking up on the seats, like some feet, like noticeable feet. Like I'm like, wow, feet, And I go back there, and it's this girl, and I start talking to her. So, let me take that back. It was two girls, and they were talking to each other. And it sounded like English, but it wasn't English. And so I was very interested, of like, where they're from. They're also, cute. So I was like, oh, talk to them.
That's no brainer.
Yeah. And I introduced myself, and it turns out there's these two girls from South Africa. And one of them's name is Lede. So we end up having like this nice, like hour-long conversation. I couldn't, and go our separate ways, and we add each other on Facebook, because like that's just what you do. You meet people, you're gonna go your separate ways, so you just like add them on.
Find a connection.
You find a connection. At that time, I wasn't like much into the gram, and so like back then I was just rocking like the FB Messenger and things like that. So add her on the Facebook, and then that's July. Okay, so that happens. I go back to Arizona. And actually, when I go back to Arizona, this is terrible. So
how long were you in Europe?
I was in Europe for about 2 weeks. So
Okay.
Spain, Portugal, and a 24-hour layover in London. So I made sure to go out and get lots of pictures, and so people like really thought I had spent some time there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Of course.
Found yourself in,
Yeah.
in the Heathrow Airport of London.
Yeah. But it was so the timing was really bad with the trip. So I swear this all kind of like I hope comes together. But the timing was really bad with the trip where my lease was ending in Arizona. So like I had to pack all of my stuff in my apartment and move it out and before I went on my trip. And then when I got back from my trip, I had to drive from Arizona to Kansas City, and I had like to be back at work in like 2 days. And so like it had to be quick, you know? And so what I did was I packed my apartment, I cleaned it up real nice to try to get that full deposit back. I loaded my stuff at that time I was driving a Pontiac Grand Am, a 2001.
Is that the Breaking Bad car?
No, he has like an SUV, but shout out Pontiac. That is a Pontiac.
That's a Pontiac.
Yeah,
You know what I'm talking about, right, Marcus? It looks like a shittier version of a Prius, right? Because it's got the weird like curve and then like the straight down on the back. So that's not your car?
No,
Okay.
This is like it's like a more of like a kind of like a race car.
Damn.
Gotcha.
It doesn't go really fast though. You know? So
Oh.
it's black.
Because it's from 2001.
It's from 2001. A lot of miles on it, but I had all my possessions packed up in there like tight. You know, like literally everything I owned was in that Pontiac. It was in that Pontiac, and I packed it in there before I left.
Okay.
So then I get back, and I mean, it was the flights were brutal. I had like a 24-hour layover in London, and then my flight was delayed like 2 hours in London, of course. And then I, don't get any sleep on the flight from London to New Jersey. Domestic flights, I'm out like a light. For whatever reason, international flights, I can't fall asleep. I don't know. I teleport domestically. I'm awake every second when I fly international.
Oh,
Fly into
that's like the worst way to do it. You
Yeah.
gotta do it the other way
Flip it.
around.
Flip it.
Mhm.
Yeah, I wish we could just flip it like that. But I get into New Jersey and I have another 3-hour delay in New Jersey. And so at this point, what I'm looking at is instead of getting back to Phoenix at 11 p.m., I'm going to be getting back there at like 2:30. And I literally have to jump in my car and hit the road by like 9 a.m. to make it back to Kansas City to start working again that week. And so like it's jet lag, layovers, it don't matter. Like you got to get in that Pontiac and you got to start heading east like as fast as you can. So I get in to Phoenix, and I was gonna stay. I had made a friend in the building, so I was gonna stay with them, and then crash and just get a few hours of sleep, jump in my car, and go. I get in at like 2 something. I go into my parking lot, and I'm like, I should probably just check on my Pontiac, just like give it a little,
Yeah, make sure it's
Tap,
good
tap,
to go.
yeah.
check the air, just
Yeah,
push on
sanity
the
check.
tire.
Yeah.
It's like, all right. I look, and it's just not in the parking lot. It's just gone. And I'm just like, all my stuff,
All your
literally all
stuff's
my
in-
stuff,
your-
all my stuff in there, And so I was like, I literally just like, I just look over, and I knew where it was before, and it was gone, and I was just like, all right, I can't think about this right now. I can't. And so I just like pushed it way down. Didn't even think about it. Woke up the next morning, I was like, oh yeah. Anyways, it got towed, and I got it back.
Not stolen.
What's that?
Not stolen.
Not stolen.
Okay.
I got it back. I hit
And that's
the
not to say that no one would want to steal a Pontiac, right?
Right.
But it's probably not the first car you would steal, right? Would you say that?
I mean, I take mild offense to that, but at the same
It's all right, dude. I have a 05 Dodge Stratus, and if that ever got stolen, I'd tell the world. I'd actually be pretty excited. It's good. That's good for the insurance.
yeah. I sold it. I ended up selling it to this kid that on his profile, he said he worked at the Krusty Krab, in Kansas, and so I sold it to that kid.
Hope he's doing well. Hopefully got a raise.
Yeah, he went to like school of the Hard Knocks or something like that.
Oh, no.
School at Life or something like that, But yeah, I bought a car on Carvana, which was crazy. That's like a car vending machine. They come and drop it off. It was crazy. But anyways, I get back to Kansas City, and so this is August, and this is right when I started working on Avocadish. And I had this girl. It's just like this random stuff. I'm a very like I look back on like every detail and I think about like how things like kind of like happen and occur and how they evolve and like ideas in the head. And it was just randomly one night. I mean, I may have been even going to the bathroom or something, but I was just on my phone. You know, I was in the bathroom. Maybe I was sitting on my bed. I don't remember that part. Yeah. But I was just scrolling the old Facebook feed again back then. It just wasn't on the gram much. And this girl that I met doing yoga in Arizona, she posted like this avocado video, and it was just like I don't even remember exactly what it was, but it was like this avocado video, and it had like I looked down and it had like 30 million views or something like that, and it was like a few months old, and I was like, wow, like it's a lot of views for a fruit, you know, like that's a lot of views. And so
one fruit, 30 million views. What's going on?
How to earn it?
Yeah.
I was like, if that was like a banana video, I don't think it's happening.
Yeah, I don't think a banana video would get anywhere close to 30 million, let alone maybe 30,000.
No, I mean,
just saying.
You gotta shave off at least a couple zeros.
Yeah, a couple zeros.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And so the next thing I did, you know, I was a business student, and I was like, I wonder, like, let's look at the avocado. You know, let's check out the avocados industry. And I saw that consumption in the States had doubled from 2010 to 2018. I saw some trends in avocado toast that were pretty crazy. And then there's like this website where you can check. Well, it's a database that I had access to at the time with the company I was working for, and you can see like what percentage of items are in restaurants. So if, like, for example, I'm throwing this out here, like a Caesar salad is in like 38% of United States restaurants' menus or something like that.
And that's like a high number.
Very high number.
Yes, very high number.
Yeah,
I'm ordering a Caesar salad everywhere I go. That's the only salad I eat.
It's the best.
It's the best. I'm not eating the Greek salad. I'm not eating the other, the veg, whatever. It's just no fun. Yeah. Just give me the fat one.
Well, you know what is fun, dude, is living on the edge. And if you order the house salad of wherever you go to those restaurants, they knock it out of the park. Sometimes the house salad is just, oh, yeah, it's just a Caesar, but yeah, I know what you mean. Mm-hmm. But anyways, 38% is 38%. Exceedingly high.
And then I looked at, it was like avocado toast, and it was like the percentage of restaurants. There's two things they measure, and it's like growth and like the percentage of restaurants it's in. That's not what they call it, of course, but something like that. And it was basically like, it was like a star. It was like where it was like avocado toast was in like 4% of restaurants, and it was like the growth was like this.
Insane.
And I was like, this has got to be a thing. I was like, so I had this idea of like, what if you made at that time it was more of just like an avocado themed, or like you center the avocado, or you have a lot of avocado toast, kind of just like there. And I was like, there's got to be places like this already existing. Let's take a little sip.
Take a sip. Hydrate, man.
There you go.
Hydrate.
The avocado toast.
Yep. And then I look and I'm like, okay, it's gotta be a thing. And I see that it is, but not really. You know, there was a avocado bar in New York, there was an avocado bar in London, and there's an avocado bar in Amsterdam. So at that time in 2018, there was only three notable ones, you know. And the one in New York had 2 locations, and it had won like a Shark Tank, and it was backed by Mark Cuban. And so I was like, you know, just kind of reading the pulses out there, and I was like, those pulses look pretty nice. And like all of them had also like an incredible following on social media, like tens of thousands of followers on social media. And so I was reading those nuances, and I was like, all right, this is I think I'm onto something. So I call my friend to soundboard. I start like writing a business plan, but like honestly, I don't know how to cook. I'm like, how is this gonna really work? Like, I need to get a chef. I want to do this in Minneapolis, but I'm still down in Kansas City. Like, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do next? I don't really know. I'm just like, all right, I'm just gonna research. I'm gonna build out this business plan. Meanwhile, I'm still like messaging Lede a little bit here or there, and we talk. We end up talking on WhatsApp. Shout out WhatsApp. And
international waters, you always go to WhatsApp.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's a global app.
It's a global happening app, man. And it has that name, WhatsApp. I like that name a lot. And we start talking on the phone, and she starts getting really excited about just like business conversations, and then she just drops the ball on me, and she's like, so Lede, I don't think I've even mentioned this. So Lede she is a professional kite surfer. So she's like a South African kite surfer champion. Like
that's the coolest thing ever.
Yeah. I don't know how I didn't even throw that out there before. Like that was
but you did now.
Yeah, I did now.
Thanks.
So yeah, she's kind of retired now, but she is a kite surfer. And I find out that she has like this culinary background. She grew up on a farm. Her mom did not like to cook, and her dad had this immune deficiency. It might be that. It might not even be that at all. But like he had to eat really healthy foods, and so her whole life, her mom hated cooking. Her dad needed to eat like super healthy, and so like she ended up taking on the responsibilities of cooking. Then on top of that, she was avocado obsessed, and she was already notorious amongst her friends. She was known as like the avocado queen or something like that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like some title like that. And she was already like known for like 4 or 5 signature avocado dishes. And I remember the one that like lit like a light bulb was she said she did like this avocado egg salad. Which I shouldn't even bring that up because we don't even have that on the menu we're opening up with, but it is good. But at the time I was like I was like, that's different. And so things moved relatively quick from there. I was like, I told her, I was like, I want you to be the chef. I want you to be the executive chef of Avocadish. And granted, she didn't have any like traditional chef training. She had never worked in a restaurant. I mean, this was unconventional, like at best. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know how it happened, but I convinced her she'd never been to the States. I convinced her to fly out to the States. And so she came out in October. So this was like August. I had August and September just to like cram research, industry, restaurant stuff, get like that stuff, the foundation for that going, And then she came out in October
of 2018.
2018.
Okay.
It's taken me a long time to get to Thursday. I'll tell you that much. If you do the math, it's a 2. Yeah, but she came out in October, and we spent 4 weeks like building out the menu. In my like studio Kansas City apartment, we platonically shared like 380 square feet of space and just obsessively had this like mission of this menu. And like we're literally like on you use the word creative or whatever, like we were on an alignment of like this creative wavelength, you know what I'm saying? Of like this, like I'm sure you guys
synergy
know the synergy. I'm sure you guys can relate to that. We were on that, and and she started making some avocado magic. And then we did, I don't even know why, but we went to North Carolina and we booked this Airbnb by the water. We were going to do like all these shots of her kite surfing. The weather was shit, ended up not really working. So we were just in North Carolina for like no particular reason in an Airbnb. And what we did there though, is this was like towards the end of her trip, she built out like the entire menu that we'd been working on. And I mean, I don't know how many items are even on the menu now because we've had so much to like evolve it. But we did a photo shoot, and if you like go on our Instagram and you look down like the oldest photos, like you can see like that shoot definitely. But we did a photo shoot. My friend who had never done food photography came up, and he's a very talented photographer, John Burns. And then I did like the food styling. I like ran to Target and Walmart and bought like all these like little like fake flowers and like wooden crate boxes and like green plants, you know what I'm saying, colors and and ish. And we did a shoot and we used that to build an Instagram and like a website. And so like with those photos, we built an Instagram and a website. And then I mean from there it was just kind of crazy, like just with those pieces, I could like get a meeting or like get a conversation with like just about anybody like in food up in the Twin Cities. Like it was like insane to me that, you know, in this digital world we're living in, that you had, you know, like, and it was notable food projects up here and new food halls that were opening up and looking for like a selective amount of tenants to go in there.
Right.
And it was crazy to me because like nobody would, if they saw our Instagram and website, like nobody would even ask us about our experience about like in restaurants, which I have worked in a restaurant while I was in school, but like nobody would ask about Leday's experience as a chef or like any of that. They just see pretty photos and they're like,
sold.
We're about that. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so that got like the meetings going, and I was ambitious about when I thought we could open. And so by February of 2019, I quit my job down in Kansas City and I came back up to Minnesota. And I mean, I literally went from a safety net in every regard, a nice salary, you know, benefits, health insurance, like all those nice things. I went from that to nothing. And it was probably the biggest professional, responsible Alex risk that I'd ever taken, you know, up until that point. And I came back up to Minnesota. I rented a room from like a friend. I started working back at the restaurant that I worked at when I was in school. And I mean, last year was just a fucking grind. I mean, we did like events at Core Power. We did a downtown event. We were trying to find the perfect space to open up to. I was flying Leday back and forth from South Africa, which was incredibly expensive. And so it was just like a vicious cycle of like saving some money and then just going broke, saving some money and just going broke, and like needing to, you know, the things I needed to do is I needed to find a location. I needed to secure an SBA loan. Like those were kind of like the two goals that I had, you know, in my mind. It just took a lot longer than I thought it would.
Small business loan.
Yep. And we end up finding a spot in the summer of last year. So this has taken a long time in Dinky Town. So university, they're going to call it University Food Court. The first meeting I had with them, I crossed out court and I wrote hall, and I was like, you should call it University Food Hall. And then they did. So it's like, that's like a big difference. Like that one word is a big difference, court and hall.
Why is that?
Well, a food court, people just traditionally think of like the Auntie Anne's and the Jamba Juice.
Yeah.
And, you know,
like you're at your mall.
The mall, yeah, I was going to say.
It's like chilling at the mall. A food hall is like, you know, a lot of it might, you know, some of it could be smoke, you know, depending on where it is. But usually it means like it has an emphasis on more local concepts, more like, you know, farm table, whatever that really means. You know, just like those type of things. They usually have more creative communal space to sit. They usually have some sort of entertainment, you know, I don't even know, like some pinball machines or some bocce ball or some like a stage, you know, for people.
Yeah, a hall. Of course.
Yeah, a hall. A giant Jenga.
Yeah. You got me sold, dude. Yeah. Fuck the court system.
Oh, so we can curse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
I was doing issues. I was doing, you know, I was like cutting myself off. So nice. I like swearing's nice sometimes.
Swearing fucking rocks, dude.
Anyways, guys. I found that spot, and that's where, you know, and that was like a year ago, and some stuff has happened between there, but that's where we're opening.
That's where you're
up.
at.
Yeah.
And that takes us to
right now.
This Thursday, June 25th, is when this thing launches officially.
Yeah, we were supposed to open up back in March, and then
Corona.
Yeah. So how has that transition been the last couple?
Oh yeah,
last couple months.
I got some tips. They got some tips back here. First one's always, hey, don't panic. That is good, applicable advice in all scenarios.
Yes, dude.
Same with number 2. Always call your grandparents.
Yeah.
Mine are all deceased, but I can still send those prayers up. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely. Call. But that's really cool, man.
Yep.
That's very cool. So what was how have the last couple months been with, you know, the big transitions with everything going on in the world?
Yeah, I mean, COVID came, as we all know. You know, that thing came. It was like frustrating, but when mid-March, nobody really knew what was going on. You know, we were getting like death rates at 10% and da-da-da-da-da. And so like it kind of like took away, I would say, like the selfish implications of like opening up, because I was just more kind of concerned about what's happening, what's going on. Is this like a new earth that we're about to be living in? And so I that took out the initial fear. But then when things were, you find out that it's not, you know, it's not going to be as deadly, or it, you know, however you want to say it. Yeah, we were stuck where we couldn't open up. And I started to feel, you know, just kind of like self-pity and just feeling kind of sorry for myself and like the situation that was going on. And I sat in that for probably like, you know, 50 something hours or something like that, a couple of days. And I realized I resorted back to, you know, an old virtue of when you feel helpless and defeated or whatever it is, like the key or the solution is to help others, you know, like to focus on other people and be a service. And so we started this thing called 10K Meals, and we started working out of a community kitchen space in North Minneapolis called New Rules. And we were from mid-March to the end of May, we were just preparing and delivering and donating meals just all around the community. So we
very cool.
Yeah, it's called 10K Meals, which is it was kind of, you know, we want to do 10,000 meals, like 10,000 meals donated. And I picked, you know, it's 10,000, you know, that's a number, land of 10,000 lakes, you know, Minnesota. But
you get your 10,000 hours in, you're technically an expert in something, according to Malcolm Gladwell.
It's a good number.
Yeah.
It's 10,000 is a very good number. But it was also, for me, it was like, I didn't know what was going to happen. Like if we were going to be able to open, or like when we first started 10K Meals, I literally was like, I don't really know like what's going to happen with this project. Like there's a lot of uncertainty, which is, you know, it's fine. But I was like, I knew like in my mind, like if we can do 10,000 meals, this will make all of the work that we've put into it and that I've put into it worth it. Like, you know, like I knew like if we did that, we're not there yet. We're at 1750.
Nice.
Right now. Yeah.
But that's sweet. 1750 is an awesome number.
Thank you.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
So you were just turning and burning meals for the community.
Turning and burning.
That's amazing.
We had something like 80 volunteers throughout the entire time, and because we did all like delivery and stuff, and so yeah, it was just like a really positive experience. And then it was also, I mean, there was, you know, for the business side of it too, I mean, it benefited staying relevant during COVID, and you know, like our, you know, digital platforms, you know, stayed active. They had a pulse, and just like things I was able to kind of continue to creatively use Avocadish, you know, for good. And then it just kept like the Avocadish machine running, you know, during that time.
But also your internal energy levels, because we found like having these conversations, when someone's most fulfilled, it's because they're rooted in the give back. They have some type of focus in helping the community or helping a certain individual. So when you were in your most stressful situation, you know, you're about to open up this 2-year project that you invested, you just spent, you know, only 20 minutes talking about, but it was 2 years of your life going hard at, and it got paused because of a pandemic, and you're in an absolute stressful situation. And the first thing, or the first idea you have to move through it is helping the community, giving back. That's awesome. That's a killer. So kudos to you.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, that's amazing. So sorry, go ahead.
I didn't have anything.
No, you're good. No, that is just very impressive. So what was kind of the process for like the meals that you were making? Were they all part of Avocadish like menu items that you were donating and making?
They were not. They were ingredients that we used. So like roasted sweet potatoes, caramelized onions, garlic roasted tomatoes, of course, avocado, brown rice, and we would just kind of make bowls.
Sweet.
You know? Yeah. So we just do like bowls, and we just got really good at making those those ingredients. And we had a lot of constraints of where we were working out of. We didn't have refrigeration. We'd have to like, you know, order the day of we were gonna make it. I'd have to like drive out to U.S. Foods and like pick up the ingredients, and like it was like, you know, a lot of moving and shaking, you know what I'm saying? And like yeah, we used Avocadish ingredients and just did bowls. So
that's awesome, man. Yeah. Do you have maybe one donation or one? So were you hand delivering a lot of these meals?
Delivery, we would delivery volunteers would come, and so like on any given week, so you know, random week, we would say we were delivering meals to like 40 families on a single day. That was a normal Thursday in April. In May, we would have about 10 delivery volunteers come between 4:30 and 5 and pick up their assigned routes. And then like the way we had the families listed, each driver had like a strategic clusters of families that they were delivering to, and we'd give them like the most optimal way to deliver, where you start with like this address and this address and this address, and it's based upon where the volunteer lived, and like all these, like we had, you know, we did the planning behind, you know, the signups and everything like that. And so yeah, we'd have like 10 or 12 delivery volunteers simultaneously be delivering meals to like 40 families like in an hour window when we were done preparing the food. So,
wow.
Yeah,
that's impressive, man.
Yeah,
that's super cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
How's it been being in the food industry now? Like you're fully involved with food. And my dad's been in the food industry since out of college, and I kind of have like family experience, but no like personal business experience. I'm curious from your standpoint, like, is it what you thought, or is it? I mean, because I get stressed just thinking about making my own dinner.
Yeah,
I can't imagine what it's like to, you know, build a restaurant off it and then feed everyone involved.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good question, and it's interesting. It's like I've kind of kept like a degree of separation with the food, you could say. Like it's almost like you know, for me, I have so many parts of Avocadish that I like to give like my input and just like strategic input that I can focus on, that I would say like obviously it's still a restaurant and it's very much food industry, but it's like it's kind of like that's just like a part of it for what I do. Like that's like a part of it, and I have like other things I can like kind of focus on. And it's a very like I don't really pay attention too much to what's going on around like us. Like I like the thing of like we're not competitor focused, we're customer focused, you know. And so like we don't, I would say like so many things that we're doing, we didn't like, we kind of like, we talked about this earlier, it's like we definitely, like, steal's the wrong word, but we definitely got influenced by like, you know, whether it was Chipotle or Crisp and Green or like whatever like the concept is, but then we give it like our own spin or we change it, you know. And so like I feel like our project is unique where I don't like it's weird for me to like think about it as like just a restaurant, I guess, or like it's, I don't know how, yeah, I don't know.
No, I think it goes again back to the creative part of it, right? It is a restaurant, it is this, but you can, with how you grow it and how you seed it and how that makes you feel, and the passion behind this thing is far more than just food.
Yeah.
It's far more than just feeding people. There's so much more that goes into it, as you're realizing, and what you've explained from the last 2 years, you know.
Yeah.
It's way more than just food. So I love that you said there's like a line, there's a difference, right? I mean, if you're on the front line serving people and making the food, yes, now I'm tied in with the food, but that's one meal in the grand scheme of what I'm trying to do of millions and create a brand and something bigger, much around the idea of Avocadish.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Okay. I love that.
And as he was saying that, I was curious, is Ladea your chef?
Yeah. So yes.
You didn't close the loop on that one.
No. So she is our chef.
Okay.
She's in South Africa.
Okay.
And we don't have a trip planned just because of COVID and, you know, everything like that. It's unfortunate she can't be here for the opening. But we had so long to work on it, and like we did events, you know, and like we had a lot of time to evolve, and build the menu. So we just have like a large like inventory of like menu items like kind of in the queue, and then we can go off of for
Sure.
a good amount of time. And so we have a a short-term plan, with her in place, and then moving forward, it's kind of just like what she wants, in a lot of ways. She's living on a farm. It's her boyfriend's dad's farm, and so she's out. It's in Pretorius. Oh my gosh, I think I botched that a little bit.
It's in South Africa.
It's in South Africa, yeah.
Okay.
And so
and she's not going to come over for the opening for June 25th.
Unfortunately,
she's not flying in.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, not.
Gotcha.
But, yeah.
Right on. So it's opening June 25th. You have your location in University Hall. Feeling pretty good about it? Like, is there any final loops you need to close? You got 5 days out.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's weird because I'm just like a 24 hours type of guy. Like, I'm really not even necessarily excited. Like, because I think excited is dangerous to me. Like, it deters me from focusing. And actually, my focus has been all sorts of mess. Like over the last I'd say 6 weeks. It was bad timing. Like, I felt like I had laser cat focus for 18 months, and then it kind of slipped away a little bit. And that's been really challenging because I wish I was as just as locked in, I guess you could say, as I was 6 months ago. And we're fortunate that we've had so much time to plan. And I will be excited. Don't get me wrong. I will be excited the day of. But it's just, I've always been like that my whole life. Even when I take a trip, I'm never really excited. I look forward to it, and I'm looking forward to opening, but it's I don't get that real feeling of excitement until I'm going to the airport or something like that.
Right. Yeah. When you're physically there in the moment.
Yeah.
Opening the gates for the first time.
Yeah. But it's exciting. It's definitely it's exciting. I'm nervous, it's actually happening.
Right.
It's been 22 months in the making, so I hope we're ready, right?
Yeah.
I hope we better be ready.
Or ready as you possibly can.
Ready as we possibly can be. Yeah.
Oh, that is so cool, man. I'm stoked for you.
Thanks.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Thank you. Yeah. You'll all have to come in, and I'll
Count me. Yeah, I'll be there.
Yeah.
I'll be there.
So
love
what's really cool is you've gone from not even really knowing about how to make dishes or meals or anything around avocados to now, you're in it. We could show up to your restaurant tomorrow and I would assume you got a menu like a platter of things that you would want us to try. You can make these certain things. Oh yeah, we take these spices and we throw it on here. And that's 22 months of you bashed your laser focusedness in the last 6 weeks, but let's look at the grand scheme of the 22 months. You've been laser focused on avocado meals for the last 20 months, and now look at where you're at, about to open up your restaurant.
Here we are, yeah, and yeah.
So how does it work for all the how are you able to secure your opening day of June 25th? Was it just with the health regulations and all the different things around COVID kind of leaning off that allowed you to kind of pursue it?
June 25th was just, I like the number 25.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
There's really no, there's really wasn't a lot of thought. Well, on a Thursday and a Friday, we want to do Thursday or Friday instead of a Monday or a Tuesday and stuff like that, but we were going to open in March, then we were going to open June 10th. And then just with all the unrest that our cities had over the last month, it just didn't feel right to open up on June 10th. And so, for a while, we didn't even have a scheduled date again. But then we ended up picking June 25th, and very fortunate with the owner of where we're opening up in. They weren't always, but now they're much more just flexible with working with us and timing the lease appropriately to our opening date. And those were kind of some of the other big factors with opening. And,
for sure.
The whole lease starting, so.
No, for sure. You definitely don't want to be starting the lease before you're actually getting people in your doors.
Right.
That's crucial.
Very crucial.
How does it feel to be an entrepreneur now? Because you had a stable job. You said you had the benefits. You had, the ultimate stability, a corporate gig. You were in Kansas City. You felt comfortable. How is it now being an entrepreneur, being completely self-sustainable?
Yeah, that's a great question. I'm very fortunate, and we secured an SBA loan in December, and so it changed things for having some securities and being able to like build it out, in its full. But like, I think a better way for me to answer this is like, even last summer when it was like just a grind and a struggle, and like, I'm not even like, I'm talking like at certain times, like completely broke. And I had people around me, just saying like, are you okay? Like what are you doing? Like da da da. And like, I was always just like, have never had a doubt in my mind. Like, it was that I wasn't doing the right thing, or I wasn't making wrong decisions. I was taking a lot of risks, but it was like, I don't have any, I felt alive, I felt like I was pushing it, and I believed in it. And I think like an important part of that has just been like, with everything for me, has just been like patience. And I mean, I even acknowledge that I could have already had the most fun. I could have already had like the most fun could have been building it. I don't even know. I hope not. I hope I open and it's just like, it's so much fun, so fun. I'm so happy, but it's like, but it's just like, I may have had like the struggle's fun too. Like I don't know how,
Mm-hmm.
No, I agree. I think there's definitely something to be said with that, because it's not always going to work out towards the exact plan. There's never you can't draw a straight line to the opening of this place and the starting of this company, but like the ups and downs, the peaks and valleys, and the whole process of the thing, like you're saying, is a blast.
Yeah.
And hearing that you feel alive and feel like you have this belief and the confidence, even when you're broke or even when you secure a loan or whatever, that's night and day from what you had described in 2018.
Yeah.
That's night and day from how you were feeling in Kansas or in Phoenix, even in Europe. So that's, in the grand scheme of things, like I always am saying, it's like, that's amazing. So cool, dude.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's like, for me, I've described it as, over the last 2 years, I've had, levels of stress I've never dealt with. I've had like, pressures and like financial insecurities that I hadn't dealt with in my adult life. But like, the way I put it is like, I was never bored. Like, I've had not always happy necessarily. Like, I can get depressed. I like little waves of that for me. I can get stressed. I can get all those things. But like, I literally have not been bored in like, I feel like a year and a half or something. So that part's nice. Like, and I'd rather have that than like be comfortable. I get like what is comfort? I mean, I'm comfortable on this couch, but comfortable talking to you guys. But like, what is comfort? Like, I just like to not be bored.
Yeah. And we've been pursuing it since the start of the podcast, but it's been enhanced more so right now. But be comfortable with the uncomfortable. Like, that's when I'm actually most comfortable, is when I'm putting myself in a situation I've never been in, and like, holy shit, all right, it's time to adapt, see what my surroundings are like, and see how I'm feeling, and move through it.
Yeah.
We're hosting an event, Boatchella.
I'll be there
on August 8th.
Yeah, I'll be there.
A riverboat party
yeah.
on Stillwater on the St. Croix. And like, that's making me uncomfortable because, we have COVID happening right now. The city ordinance is allowing 250 people in an area. And we called the boat company, and they said, yeah, we'll clean the boat down, and you can have the 250 people on there with no really restrictions. So we're playing within the rules of what we've been given, but you're still going to get some backlash. You're still going to get, hey, what are you doing? There's this pandemic going around. Are you going to negatively influence with this event? And there's a lot of people our age that are wanting to get back out and have some fun and see. And, it's the summertime in Minnesota. Everyone loves the summer here in Minnesota. There's really no better summer anywhere else. So this isn't making me uncomfortable, but we did it last year, so we kind of have some basis to it.
Yeah, we did it last year in 4 weeks. This year we're on 49 days out officially, which is more than what we even had to start with last year. So it's it's just a different, like the second time through, you just gotta be we're trying to just be a little bit better, but still, like you said, and like we're all talking about, embracing the unknown almost.
Exactly.
What are like the immediate like constraints with like, how do you plan? Like, are you planning in the terms of like like with the current phase 2, or are you like thinking it's gonna be phase 3 then, or like how does that work?
So our boat holds 350 people.
Yeah.
And the city ordinance is 250 right now. So we cannot go more than 250, even though we're originally anticipating having 350.
Okay.
So we're going to play with that number, and maybe it gets extended by the time that we're closer to the date.
Yeah.
But by phase 2, phase 3, that we really, like, hands up, I don't know anything about that.
Yeah.
We're just
Living in the moment.
We're living in the moment. We're marketing it as the turn of the year.
Some are calling it the turning point of our already historic year.
A little bit of a freedom tour involved in it because, you had COVID strapping you down.
Yep.
The dogs are trying to get out. The dogs are trying to eat. We dine in.
All right, so you got it real quick. So there's this thing, which actually Avocado should adopt this. So one thing that I do when I'm in an uncomfortable situation, and I go into a place where I don't know hardly anybody, maybe a couple connections here and there. I'm here with a buddy, and it's his place, and he has got a bunch of people that say.
Yeah.
So what I always do is I find my dogs, and my dogs are new people that I talk to that I'm, vibing with.
Yeah.
So what I do is, like, if anybody needs, like, I'm always the guy that, like, oh, you need anything, as I'm going to get something for myself. So I'm like, oh, okay, where are my dogs at? Who needs a beer? Who needs a White Claw, right? So then everyone's like, oh, I'll take beer. So you get, like, get 4 or 5 people, go in, grab your dogs the beers. You come out and you just start throwing them the beers, and you say, all my dogs eat.
Yeah.
All my dogs eat, dude. If you're a dog, all my dogs eat.
That is brilliant. That is a brilliant strategy right there.
So Avocadish needs some dogs when they need to be fed.
Yeah.
When all their dogs need to eat.
And they just don't. They not only eat, but they dine in.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They dine in
They
now.
stay. Oh, they go. They come in. They ground in.
They're hunkering down.
They're hunkering down. They're posted. They're in no rush. They're not going. They're not going anywhere. The
Exactly.
Dogs,
The dogs, dude.
The
Dogs are
Barking.
present.
So, anyways, that's why Andrew was saying dine in.
Dine in.
I'm gonna find I'm coming to Boatchella. I'm gonna get on, wear some flip flops and some shorts, and I'm gonna come to Boatchella. I'm gonna find my dogs. I'm gonna
Yes.
I'm gonna ground in and
Get
have
some
a
people
blast.
into the restaurant, dude.
Yep.
Yeah.
What a great opportunity.
Yeah.
So this is a situation where we all have to adapt, right? There's so much shit happening. We're just trying to figure it out, and no one knows what's going on. Fauci has no idea what's going on.
Yep.
He's making shit up.
Oh yeah.
we're all just trying to do what's best for everyone.
It's the Wild West.
Some people are abusing it. Some people are, truly helping the situation, and it's crazy. This is, we are lucky enough as 24-year-olds not having really any external responsibility besides just handling our own shit.
Yeah.
Like, I can't imagine being a business owner
Yeah.
or having a family and having to deal with your kids' schooling and stuff like that.
Yeah.
All that stuff. We are in the perfect situation. 2 years out of school, we have a steady job, and we can kind of mess around and not. And this disease doesn't necessarily, the pandemic doesn't necessarily destroy our health. If we get it, we'll fight through it. We'll move through it. But we built this poster because we were like, let's just be knuckleheads.
Let's go back to 7th grade science project.
If you can't explain something on a 5x4, I don't
Little
know, trifold. If you can't explain something on a trifold, I don't even want to know about it.
I think we got to change it though. No, I think we got to change it to the Freedom Tour.
Yeah, something with Boatchella.
Something with Boatchella.
Yeah.
What do we do now moving forward?
Yeah, I
type
think that's
thing.
our project tomorrow.
Yep.
Our Father's Day project.
Our Father's Day project. I totally agree.
Yeah.
Thank you for the reminder on that one.
Yeah,
Father's Day.
Day.
Yeah.
Massive.
Shout out to all the dads.
Absolutely.
yes.
Yeah.
Dads rock.
Pro dad here.
Yeah, huge pro dad. And we're actually we stay very there's always debate, pro dad or con dad.
Anti-dad.
Anti-dad.
Have you
There's
met-
a lot of anti-dad people.
You've met some anti-dad people? personally.
Have I ever? No.
Are you kidding me?
I don't even know.
They're crawling everywhere.
Yeah.
You ever been on Reddit at /r/anti-dad, dude? It's crazy.
I want to be a fighter on behalf of the dads.
Same, dude.
How do I get into that battle, man?
You're a father freedom fighter.
I'm a father freedom fighter. All the dads. All the dads.
Oh, because they get a bad rap sometimes.
Yeah, dads are my dogs.
Yeah.
Hey,
Dads
and all my dogs eat. So all my dads eat.
All my dogs, all my dads, they all eating, steady eating that.
Steady eating
Avocados.
Avocados.
Avocadish.
Yeah.
I love that. What's the layout of this hall? Like, do you have like a certain area? Is it? Do you have places for your dogs to dine in? How does it work?
Plenty of open space, fields, tables, kennels for all my dogs to come in and eat. You know,
that's amazing.
Yeah, no, so the food hall seats 270. So it's spacious.
Wow.
Very spacious. With COVID, it'll be reduced down to 50% of that. So what was that, 135?
Mm-hmm.
A spry 135.
A very spry,
lean,
lean and thick 135.
2 C's.
It's lean. It can it's like a sponge. It can be lean because I like the word lean. It's a spry, but it's also it's a girthy 135.
Nice.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So here's a good question. Like, so your capacity is 270.
Yeah.
They're telling you, okay, half of that 135.
Yeah.
If you have 136, is anyone gonna be like, huh? Like, everybody, and all of a sudden, like an alarm goes off the second the 136th person walks in, or is there like a? Not saying you break the rules. I'm just saying, like, who's keeping track of this?
Oh, I doubt anybody's. I don't think there's gonna be somebody with like a clicker. You know what? You know
Counting
what I'm
heads.
saying?
Right,
I
yeah.
think it's gonna be like more of like a feeling. You know, like you're just gonna look out and you're just be like, this feels a little too crowded. I noticed a couple shoulders brushing up against each other. We got to get a few people, few of our the dogs stay, and some of the non-dogs, some of those anti-father people, maybe they
Maybe it's their time to leave.
Maybe it's their time to leave, and we get that number down to just a spry like 132.
Okay,
We got some mobile app delivery drivers. You guys can come on in, man. We're at 129 right now. Come on in. So
sick.
no, and then there's gonna be eventually, hopefully, 10 total vendors like in the building. Right now there should be 4 that are opened by like summertime.
Okay.
But we'll be the first. And and then it's actually like it's an Asian food hall. So the other concepts currently, there's a Korean barbecue, magic noodle, which they're also on Hamlin and University.
Mm-hmm.
A tea place called My Tea, and so
Avocadish.
Avocadish.
I feel like that's a good little vibe area. I feel like people who will show up for the tea might be interested in avocado toast.
Yeah.
And who might be interested in the Korean barbecue. I feel like you guys, the type of customer is very similar.
Yeah, it's a good spot, and like it's 15th and 4th Ave. It's the third highest concentrated commuter intersection in the Twin Cities.
Mm-hmm.
On a normal spry spring day, non-COVID day. I don't know about I don't have the COVID numbers in front of me or anything like that, but it's a good intersection. The McDonald's is actually like the 5th highest grossing McDonald's in the United States.
Yeah.
I haven't fact checked that one. I probably should, but I've heard that from like multiple people.
Same.
So.
You've been to that Dinky Town McDonald's before, right? Like,
honestly,
when it's popping at night.
Oh, I can see it from my window, and so like I just watch. I mean, the drive-through is insane. It's literally just it's a line. I'm like, where are all these cars? I didn't realize that many people are crushing the McDonald's, but like it's all there all the time. All the time.
Yeah.
Because you went to the U, right?
I did.
So did you ever just like get hammered and at like 2 a.m. you were at the Dinky Town McDonald's?
I never. No, I think I went to that McDonald's like once.
Yeah, I mean, I've been there one time myself, and it was insane. Like, just kids everywhere, like hundreds of kids in this McDonald's, all hammered, and it's 2 a.m. We're just trying to get our freaking. I always get the McDouble, and you squeeze it between the McChicken.
Oh yeah.
They call it the McStoner in Colorado. It's also commonly known as the McGangbang as well. These are just terms. I don't make the rules here, but they had like bodyguards and security guards hired in a McDonald's to filter people through.
Oh yeah, I mean it's a free for all. It's really just a free for all.
Yeah.
I mean, that whole area is
Time to get some of those guys into your restaurant.
Yeah.
Or,
Just to get them eating healthy.
no, we're closing at 8 p.m.
Yeah,
so.
sure.
If somebody comes hammered, it'll be half amusing, half concerning.
Oh, I love that.
With being in being in ops with your past like stable job, are you investing in any operations for delivery service? You know, the Instacarts, the people coming in to pick up the Avocadish.
Oh yeah, fully optimized, my friend.
Sweet.
Fully optimized.
Okay.
So like,
so I can go on Grubhub, or
you can go on
DoorDash.
any of them.
Yep.
You can go on any of them. So like, that's kind of like a post-COVID pivot. You know what I'm saying? Like before, where we were anticipating like normal business, non-COVID, I was anticipating about 35% of our revenue to be off-site, so through mobile app delivery. Now, I'm gonna assume it's well over 50%.
Wow.
And so, the difference is before we were gonna do a couple select vendors. We're gonna be like, all right, we're a DoorDash and a Grubhub restaurant, and we want to be a little bit exclusive. We want to like feel it out, and then we want to push our storefront and all that. Now it is sign us up. We're gonna literally be on like all of them. The only difference is we have Toast POS, which is our POS system, basically fully integrates everything, and it's basically made for restaurants that have like a digital emphasis. And then through this integration software called Chowly, it doesn't matter if somebody orders off of our website, Uber Eats, Grubhub, DoorDash, whatever. It just all comes in on our just KDS display monitor, and so it's all uniform. Where if you don't have it like that, which most restaurants don't, then what you're dealing with is just a gangbang of tablets that are
Grubhub, and Uber Eats,
just
individualized.
Yes, just like, and they all have like the most obnoxious ringtones. They send you these shitty $80 Samsung tablets. They will not stop. I've gotten so many tablets in the mail, and like I just tell them, you know, don't send me a tablet. We don't need it, and then they do. So yeah.
And then are they just fully yours now?
I haven't even opened up the case. I don't even want
You
those
should just
$80
If you don't need them, just sell it to someone else who would want it.
Yeah, it seems like a lose-lose. Like I don't like that they sent me that. Like because it's like I feel like they can. You know, your card's on some file. And
sure.
Yeah, you know what
Tracking
I mean?
your data.
Tracking my data.
Sure.
Well, you said that, not me, but yeah,
sure.
Some of that too, you know?
Keep it in the box, dude.
Keep it in the box.
Keep it in the box.
Yeah, box it up. That way they can't take your data.
So what episode is this?
271? 272?
272.
272. And so how many episodes per week do you guys average?
We're doing one a week right now.
Yeah.
Last year we did 3.
Okay.
This year we're only doing 1 because the idea is like when we do something with when a guest comes on our show, we're trying to do something outside of the show with them, something to build that relationship a little closer.
Yeah.
Versus pounding out more podcasts and just having these conversations over and over. It feels like there's more important relationship building that we can be doing.
Yeah. So have you been doing it for what? Maybe like 2 years?
3 This is our going on the 4th year.
4th year. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So did you guys start when you were in school?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
We were juniors in college.
Juniors in college. And were you living in this place right here?
We were living on campus, St. Thomas, which is in St. Paul.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we were recording out of a sunroom.
Okay. So was it you two?
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
And then what was what was the initial thought?
Well, talking off air, like we were listening to that podcast heavily, sitting in our cubicles, going into our junior year, just chatting, texting, Snapchatting about Barstool podcast, Joe Rogan podcast, laughing our asses off, and realizing like these guys are average guys. We can do this is if we just just get our voices out there. Yeah. And Declan and I were like, let's do a political podcast because it was 2016 and it was the election year, and we're like, hey, this is a hot topic, let's do it. And Declan was like, pitched it to his mom. He's like, hey, I'm thinking about doing this. Hey, Maureen, what are your thoughts on us doing a political podcast? And she
was like, absolutely not. That's the worst idea ever. She's like, if you want to go ahead and divide the country a little more, go ahead and start your comedy podcast, political podcast for average guys, because
you'll run out of content in
about 2 seconds.
Yeah.
And No, the funny part about it was like the reason we thought of that was like, okay, pardon my take, these two average guys who are totally dominating the sports world through Barstool. Well, Andrew and I are two average guys. Maybe we just find something in the realm of entertainment where we can do the same thing. Two average guys hitting up the political world. Obviously, the moms hated that one, so being pro-mom, we shut that down during our break.
To hear you're pro-mom.
Right.
Yes.
Thank you. Yeah. Freedom fighters for the for the moms out
You
there.
could almost say you're pro-parents at this point.
Pro-parents.
Mm-hmm.
Bang. There it is. So, but anyway, so we showed up in February 2017. Not really having an agenda of what we wanted to do, but we were like, there's this really something to this average thing. We're just going to show up, be the two average guys, and figure it out.
Wildly average.
Wildly average. Exactly. And that was our tagline from the start.
Yeah.
And so we set a schedule. We're like, all right, we're going to go pick up a mic. And on our way back, Andrew's like, what do you think about the name Backpocket? Safe, tucked away, always there when you need it. Kind of the impetus of what a podcast is, but also the impetus of how people could digest information. So
I like that word, by the way.
impetus. That one? Thank you.
Impetus.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Word of the day.
Word of the day. But that's where it really started. And what it's evolved to now is a comedy podcast highlighting stories of success from ordinary, average people doing the extraordinary.
Yeah.
I want everybody to listen, learn, take something, put one thing in their back pocket to use in their own life.
Yeah. I like that.
Yeah, because no one really carries any physical objects in their back pocket.
That's horrible for your back.
Yeah, you put like your phone in your back pocket and you're sitting on it, you're ruining your spine, you're ruining your posture.
And you're ruining your phone.
Yeah.
Exactly. Wallet, same thing.
Yeah.
You probably want to flatten down your wallet, but maybe don't sit on it because you're hurting your spine. But you carry around yourself in your back pocket.
Yeah, dude. There you go.
Attaboy.
Wow.
Wow.
Whew. Now he's feeling all better. Now he's like, I gotta feel loose up.
Now you're back at it. But really what you carry around in your back pocket is yourself. And like you just like attributes to overcome situations, attributes to have, the most fun all the time, to be you. And that's what we've kind of just unpacked with each guest that comes on, the back pocket. And hey, we're sitting in the pocket right now.
Yeah, this is the pocket.
This is the pocket.
Yeah.
Because it's cool. Like it was really cool hearing when you were like, okay, I was in this really stressful, high pressure situation. I had probably 48, 50 hours of just like down moments. And then you, in my opinion, how I looked at it was like you reached in your back pocket and found something such as helping others.
Yeah.
That's a virtuous thing to do. That's going to make me feel better. And now 1,700 meals later, like, look at where you are today.
Yeah.
So that's kind of that mentality that we're trying to instill in everybody is I want someone to hear that and be like, okay, if I'm in a bad situation, I'm going to find ways to give back.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
And so 272
Ish.
272. That's a lot of episodes.
Yeah.
That's a lot of conversations.
Yeah.
It is, man.
Yeah,
It really
like
is.
what I guess so you started, how many episodes did you do in the old St. Thomas sunroom?
I think the first year we were very sporadic. We weren't consistently releasing every week. I think we got 36 out there.
36.
And then the next year, I want to say it was around. Did we do one every week? We were consistent.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But that next year was
Going out of school.
going out of school.
Yeah.
So
We did
I-
1
if
year
we're
full in school, 1 year
Yeah.
half in school.
I would probably say we did about 60 episodes in that studio.
And then have you done the rest of them here?
We had a
Ye-
side
yeah.
room right over here.
Yeah, we'll show you after this tiny room in here where his brother currently lives.
He's living here for the summer.
Yeah, living here
Nice.
for the summer, just stopping by before he goes back to school. And so that's what our old studio used to be. And when we moved into there, we recorded, the back end of season 2, but in last year we recorded all in there as well, and that was
120
120 podcasts
in 2019.
in 40 weeks.
That is a intense number. And then you were like, wow, it's more spacious in here.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
we can.
Because this was unfinished. This whole area, if you can kind of see that yellow insulation
Yeah.
deep back there, that was this whole room.
Holy shit.
So we
yeah.
paneled this in January, and you could definitely tell we're wildly average carpenters, but
Yeah.
we got the job done.
Yeah.
I think it looks wildly great.
Hey,
Ooh. Thanks, bro.
It looks nice.
Yeah, so
Nice
then we moved
backdrop.
into here at the start of this year, and we haven't looked back.
Yeah, do you feel like that? Like, do you with me and Avocadish, I just always feel like there's like chapters. Like there's,
Mhm.
I don't even know. I think I'm on like chapter 5. I don't even know. I have to look back and count them. But like, do you feel like your chapters came with like the rooms, or was it like or is it other breakthroughs?
Yeah, I definitely think a new space always gets the juices back going, more creative energy, more of the hey, we're doing something bigger. We have more space now. We have more things. So yeah, I definitely think the evolution of our different studios has been in parallel with the evolution of Backpocket.
Yeah, and I would also add on to that, like we do our podcast in seasons, or we've typically done that in the past. I don't know how we're gonna do it now because we've found such a good rhythm to basically be self-sustaining.
Yeah.
But in the previous years, it was like because of school, we would all go home for J term. So we had 6 weeks off in the winter already through school. So we just ended the season 1. We would end it right before the end of the first semester, fall semester.
Yeah.
And then we would pick up back with season 2 in the spring. And then we did that. We graduated, but then we still applied that same logic. So we do kind of give ourselves these chapters per se of season 1, 2, 3. Now we're in 4.
Yep.
But what's funny is the chapters, if I were to go back, like you said, and kind of plot out the different moments, I don't think that would line up with how we've organized our seasons.
Yeah.
Because different things happen throughout the year. And if you look back to what we did last year, like a pinnacle moment was actually in the middle of season 3 when we won $660 on Kentucky Derby and then did Bochella. Like that was
on a $10 bet.
On a $10 bet, I won $660. We used all of it in marketing for Bochella, and so like that's a pinnacle. That would be a chapter, right?
Yeah.
That would be a pinnacle moment. And that was in the middle of the season.
Yeah.
So it's all over the place, but we do try and organize a little bit.
Yeah. So if this was chapter 3 or chapter 4, what are the future chapters? What do you want the future chapters to look like?
Yeah, the thing that we've started focusing on is turning Backpocket podcast into Backpocket, making it a brand, so people feel that there's more than just this podcast. It's actually like it's the way of the average life.
It's the way of life,
being extraordinary. It's as goofy
no.
as that sounds. That's what we're after. So we have to do our best to frame ourselves as more than a podcast.
It's like your why.
It's our why.
Your why.
100%.
Hanging up there on the wall. I feel it. I feel its energy.
Yeah.
Dude, no joke. It's our why. Like we look at that and how can we make that better? It's making us better, and grabbing other people along the way that want to join.
It's weird. I know exactly what you mean, and I have no idea what you mean, and I think that's a good thing. You know what I'm saying? Like I hear you though. Like I think like I feel the same way about Avocadish. Like, to be honest, it's like when someone describes it as like a restaurant, it's weird to me. Like, oh, you're opening up a restaurant. It's always like a weird, like, even though it's exactly what I am doing, it's like it's a weird thing. Because I think of it as like, yeah, it's like the root of my why. And it's like my creative expression. And I don't like to define that really. You know what I'm saying?
100%.
But do you like, with Backpocket, what are some ideas that you like, I guess like ideas that you have where it wouldn't be a podcast per se?
That's a great question. It's the media aspect, the marketing aspect.
Oh, so like you like having like say TikTok videos, or or I mean I know that's like a small example, but like
exactly.
Yeah.
So one thing we're doing right now is we're hiring on bloggers and creators. So people come, like we got our roommate writing blogs on local restaurants and stuff, so we'll be hitting you up for that. He's gonna come in and give talk to you, try some avocado, give you the 1-2.
Yes.
But what we're doing is like we've always said, Backpocket is a reflection of Andrew and I, not only from the operations standpoint, but also from like how we're feeling, how we're looking, and what we want to do, right? Because we're kind of leading this ship. But in order to make this thing a brand, in order to make this thing, in order to take this thing actually to Mars, we need more people.
Yeah.
We need more people under our belt. So, I said,
you're building an army.
We're building an army, exactly. So
it's a cult.
It's totally a cult.
A pro dad, pro mom,
pro parent cult.
Pro parent cult.
It's a way of life, and we're the leaders.
Hey, and everyone involved. They're the dogs.
They're the dogs.
And the dogs eat.
Yeah.
Is that DOGS or DAWGS?
DAWGS.
Okay. Thank you for clarifying.
Yeah,
that.
no problem. And I think everybody had that same question too.
Yeah.
But you bring on guys like Marcus who are video creators. You bring on Jack Burke, like a roommate who's trying to do blogging. You got guys hitting us up with different projects all the time. we got we're talking about not becoming just a podcast, but we're thinking of starting another podcast with 2 other women.
That's awesome.
So like there are ways that we're trying to branch out and kind of spread our seed a little bit more to
I like that.
create the awareness.
You can spread some. Yeah,
exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And then talk about like a Bocella. Bocella has nothing to do with the Backpocket podcast in the layman's terms of if Bocella came across your mind, you wouldn't be like, oh yeah, these are the 2. This is a podcast. It's like, oh, this is a Coachella themed boat party. Who's coming on? What time is like who's headlining? You know, like your questions and the things that you're focused on have really nothing to do. But again, it's just another way for Andrew and I to A, have fun, and B, influence something that we care about.
Backpocket, it's like a campfire, and it's like a creative campfire, and people come and sit around this creative campfire, and they stick with a marshmallow on it, and I like that.
Mm-hmm. Wow, that kicks ass.
Yeah,
I like that.
Dude,
gather around the campfire and sing our campfire songs.
And keep the fire warm. Always add more wood.
Yeah, and that's
make
the
sure
thing.
you have your Kindle too.
You gotta and like someone brings lighter fluid, but someone could also bring their guitar, and someone else could bring lumber. You know, it's like what can you bring to the fire?
Yeah.
And I'm happy to have you.
Yeah, I guess I would say too. I feel like you two would still have your thing, which like I know you have a lot of things, but like you'd keep the podcast, right? Like that would be like a centerpiece for you two, right?
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I like that.
Yeah, this definitely is like a driver of, growth, like being able to have these types of people.
It's growth, and then it's also, though, at the same time, you create the competencies within yourself as your team, your most immediate team, and that that is there always. Like, no matter what's happening around the campfire with the other people that are coming, it's hard to gauge motivation. Like, you might have somebody you meet come on and they're writing like the best blogs that you've ever seen, or they're doing their whatever it is that they do, and then they get interested in something else, and it's I think like that's a challenge, is like that's been for me anyways in my experience, is like how much do I invest into that if I don't really know where that's gonna be at in a few months, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, wait, can you explain that one more time?
Yeah, it's like I've just noticed like I've brought on, I've explored so many different things with Avocadish, like so many different ideas. Like I think of it as like it's an Avocadish campfire, right? Mm-hmm. And then you got somebody who comes in with like a stick, and they put the marshmallow on. It looks like a great stick. It's a great marshmallow. They got a nice grip on the stick, and they're roasting that thing to perfection. And you're like, okay, they're all about this campfire. They're doing their creative thing. This is a great thing. But the problem is, it's like, I'll just say from my own experiences, a lot of times it's hard to find people that can match your level of like passion or intensity or whatever it is that you want to call it, and so like it's hard. Like I've just noticed, like you could be working with somebody who seems highly motivated for a chunk of time, but then it kind of dissipates and goes away, and
sure.
It's hard. Like it's one of those things. It's like it can be challenging to keep as a business owner and entrepreneur. Like I want to keep that fire roaring, like I want to be the one who's just like adding the logs and keeping that thing roaring. But yeah, it can be challenging.
Yeah, trusting people is so hard to care as much as you do. Yeah. Because it's your baby. You put all the work into it, and now you're pawning off a big responsibility to someone, or a small one, and you still don't even see, like, hey, why don't you care as much? Yeah.
But I think what it's rooted in is like trying to communicate that passion, at the same time enabling them to see why you're passionate about it, and maybe that transfers to them. And then you got to think about the long term and the patience of it. So when, like, a great example is like with Marcus, like when you came on to start editing all this stuff, like I had to show Marcus from square one, like how to create a podcast video. And we've been doing this for how long? 3-4 months now?
Yeah, about that.
Yeah. So right away, it just what was hard for me at first was like, I have this vault of information from the last 3 years of how to do a specific task, like a very minute part of the podcast. It's a big part, and that's why Marcus is part of it now. but it's communicating, it's seeding, it's trying to figure out exactly how to just like enable. If there's a passion and there's an interest in something for someone who wants to come and help us, the first thing I'm doing is just going for the enabling.
Yep.
I want to just see what you are actually passionate in to start.
Yep.
How can I pivot and leverage your abilities?
I completely agree with that train of thought.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We had this. This is happening a lot right now with Bocella. We're realizing like the people in our circle can do things way better than we can, and it allows us to open up some other like time and energy for other things. So a great example, we have a student at St. Thomas who does all our copywriting and then publishes all of our social posts, and she also did events for the Vikings. So she's gonna take care of like the actual design of the boat. Yeah. And like take care of all the decorations and different one-off games that are happening on the boat. Versus last year, Deck and I did that, and like we spent the last 2 hours before we got on the boat like rushing to Walmart and finding the stuff.
Yeah, I'm sure it's like you can too. You know what your vision looks like too. So it's like if you can see the work that she's doing, you can give some creative input and ideas. You can like you and like like if you connect with somebody on like. I guess it's like they understand your passion. They understand. I think it's really important. Like you can convey and articulate what it is that you're trying to doing, and they kind of attach onto that. Because then I don't know if you noticed, it's like their work like aligns with like your train of thought. A good example is like with my brother, who I told you does like all of our graphic design work, and I mean he's like the most like talented and creative person I.
He's your secret weapon.
He's our secret back pocket weapon right there. You know what I'm saying? Shout out Mike. He's getting here tomorrow, so it'll be great. But it's like when I'm working with him, it's like he can literally pull the ideas out of my head and like paint a vivid picture of what I was thinking almost like better than I could have thought of. And that doesn't even make any sense. It's so deep, you know what I'm saying?
No, but you bring up a good point where it's just like the better relationship you have with someone, or the better someone knows you or knows the vision, the better that they can amplify with their own creativity. Like maybe they bring one of those skewers to the fire. You're going to give them a stick, and they're like, dude, I went to Walmart and picked up these skewers. You want these instead? And you're like, yeah.
It's metal.
This is metal. It's got a handle. Now I can roast a marshmallow way better, you know?
Yeah.
So there's also that aspect of it too. But I mean, quite frankly, this is totally new territory for Andrew and I.
Yeah.
And probably yourself with growing this thing.
Yeah.
Delegate to elevate.
Yep. No, I like. There's like a great early Amazon story with like Jeff Bezos that kind of reminds me of, and it was like this was in the 90s or whenever it was, like late 90s. I think they were like an online bookstore or something like that, and they were working out of like this single room at that point, like a single room, and they were hand packing boxes and shipping them, and they were on their hands and knees. And Jeff Bezos was like, oh, we should get knee pads, and then our knees like won't be sore. And then like one of his employees was like, dude, let's just get tables, and let's do this on a table, and then we don't have to like be on the ground on our knees. And he was like, that one idea increased our productivity by like 40% or whatever it was. And he was like, it's just amazing how, like, and I've noticed that with me too. It's like those outside influences and ideas and just like those type of things, even though I can have my passion and like chase it and believe in my why, it also, a tunnel vision can come with that.
Yes.
Where it's like you can lose sight of other things that you should be paying attention to, or maybe it's just not the best approach. And that's why, like, yeah, I've always tried to create an environment where like opinions are the most important thing. Like somebody's ideas are very important. Like I like when people have fresh ideas, or So.
And that begs the question, like our favorite question through this journey of figuring out Avocadish and your own self like pursuit with entrepreneurship. What's been your average quality? Something you've done well at times, other times not so well. At the end of the day, it's your average quality. You're continuously working on it, trying to get a little better at it because you care about it.
Yeah, that is a good question, and for me, it's like I try I really try to love and respect everybody. I know that's, it sounds almost cliche, but I notice it's like, that's my pulse check. That's like that's how I check in on myself. If I'm like out in public and the lady in front of me in line is pissing me off with how slow she's loading things on the cart, and this asshole who's driving 5 miles underneath us, like that, that those thoughts can flood in. Or it's like, I need to treat, like I try to treat every person I come into ideally. Like, it's an ideal. It doesn't always happen, but with love and respect. And I notice, like, the more I stay focused on like those type of universal principles in my life, that it comes back full circle with my relationships that I have with the people in my life. It's like I almost practice it in the public. I work on it like it's a tool, like it's a skill, and then I can bring it back with me into my relationships. It just makes it, better.
Dude, amen. The hair on my arm standing up. Because my dad and I and Declan were just talking about the day in, day out of, this is the David Foster Wallace, this is water kind of commencement speech. But the day in, day out grind, just beating on you. You can have so many thoughts while you're driving, someone pissing you off, cutting you off in the grocery line, you name it. But everyone has a choice to think about that situation. You have the conscious ability to be grateful, to think of another person, and just be empathetic and sympathetic to what their situation could be. So, dude, amen. That's awesome to have as your average quality.
Amen to that reflection too. Yeah.
Sweet.
It's really cool. I love the idea that it's I think the word is effervescent is like, I think. Marcus, you might have to.
He throws a lot of. He flexes that vocabulary, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does.
Like
He's diction.
Is effervescence also a band? All right, Marcus. Effervescent. I think it's that.
Oh, by the way, fellas, I got something for you. Okay.
Oh, stickers.
I'm getting that.
Sorry,
effervescence is like a
Marcus,
bubbling. No worries. Effervescence is like a bubbling of liquid. Is basically what I'm seeing on here.
All right.
Perfect. That's exactly what I was going for. It's the idea of. All right, now I got to recover. Just like the idea of knowing that you can look at a situation that you're in from a totally different angle, and it could just it changes your perspective.
Yeah.
It amplifies a positive mindset and gets you right back on the right track.
Yep.
And it's not to say you shouldn't be having those like frustrating thoughts, right? Everybody has them. That's a normal thing. But the fact that you're aware of it is the key.
It's the only thing. Like, as like somebody who claims that they don't have frustrating thoughts or like resentful thoughts, I mean, that's just bullshit. It's like everybody does. And to your point, it's like, for me, it's like, it's not me feeling bad about having those. It's like, it's the awareness, it's the recognition, and it's what I do, after that. And I could sit in it for a full day. It could be an hour. It could be, but I always try to resort back. You know what I mean? And like, I have a level of awareness of how like I'm treating people around me. And like, I'm a good actor. I can pretend to be nice and pretend to be, those type of things. But it's like, I'm gonna feel that, and it's just, it's so true. So
it's impressive, man. I love it. So on the flip side, from your average quality, what is in your back pocket? So this is something when pressure becomes stress, anxiety's rising, and you're in a tough situation. What's in your back pocket to help you come out on top?
Yeah, I mean, to stick, I've been very love and philosophical with my other answers about like,
for sure.
I'm such a helping other people, loving. No, I'm making fun of myself right now, but so I'm gonna give you a 2-part answer. It's my phone, but it's not in the way, like, maybe it's a specific attribute of my phone, and it's not really what I do. I'm kind of pivoting. I hope you don't mind.
No,
but it's
fine.
like, I like record. I like. I'm not great at it, and I don't have a lot of experience with it, but I love like recording. Like, I love like making videos, and I love just point and shooting with my phone. So like, during the unrest that we had from that Tuesday with George Floyd, I tracked my health steps. And like I walked like 160,000 steps from Tuesday to the following Wednesday. So it was like a lot of steps. And like I was literally just like, I went to protests, I went to city cleanups, I just wanted to experience like, everything. And I documented it. I just did like a lot of recording, and it was like, to me, it was like, and I actually have them on my Instagram stories. I think my Instagram's private though, so I don't have to look into that. But I have the recordings on my Instagram stories of protests and cleanups, and I was like able to kind of just like document and capture moments of the day as it was going, and like it was like it brought me some sort of like, I don't even know how to describe it, but
dude, you're preaching to the choir though. We love point and shooting because it captures the moment.
That's a good you took the word. So capture the moment.
Yes, capture the moment. The phone can capture so much beauty. It's so powerful.
Yeah.
And you can repost it anywhere. Throw it on LinkedIn, throw it on TikTok. Yeah. You can influence some people. Keep it to yourself and look back on it every once in a while. Yeah.
But I think the most important part about that whole thing is like, wow, dude, 160 steps, giving back to the community, understand, like, being a part of history, but doing it through your specific lens. And I just think it's really cool how, like, we have a documentation of how beautiful it is, but it's more or less, when you look back on it, that's gonna be a documentation of how you're feeling.
Oh yeah, those 160K was all by myself. Yeah. And I was fortunate, to be in Dinky Town. Because I live in the same building the restaurant's opening up in, because I did not like my commute. But I was fortunate to kind of, I could walk downtown. I actually one day walked uptown, and like I was in the noise. I was in the action.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was like it was just like how
What was your favorite gathering or protest that you attended?
I attended, so this was after the city had simmered down the following week.
Mm-hmm.
And me and actually Edja, who introduced me to Sam.
Yeah, Brodsky?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
We went to a community gathering on campus, and it was this guy who was from out of state, and he runs this like violence intervention and prevention, and he just has like this incredible story. He was actually a victim of violence himself, but he's up here, he came up here when the unrest started, and he just preached a message of just peace and unity moving forward. And it was really powerful to just be a part of it and listen. And there was a lot of just incredible Black leaders who were, just to me speaking some truths that were just great to hear. And we served some guac, and it was a good time. And then the city cleanups, those were like. It felt very Minnesotan. Like there was like just like a bunch of people like who just like came to like I went to Midway, I went to Uptown, and I'm not gonna front, like there was literally like it was hard to find something to do. Like literally there's that many people out there. Like it was like I would like go in and like you're in this like random dental office lobby that's flooded or something, and everyone's like pushing the water out, and like but like you're one of like 12 people in this like 300 square foot room. I mean, it's like there's so many people out, and so I just did a lot more point and shooting. I was just trying to capture moments, and I try to just do everything objectively. I try to be patient with myself on just like to process it
mm-hmm.
properly, and to be as tempting as our digital platforms were raging in the sense of like people wanted to quickly give their just perspective on everything,
mm-hmm.
which is fine, but I tend to try to be patient and with myself and like my opinions and like my thoughts and everything like that, to give myself time, because like I understand when I rush judgment in any direction, it's usually not the best my own best personal perspective with it.
Sure.
So and it's like, you know, I'm still, it's we actually later today we're going to another event for Juneteenth on campus, and
Cool.
So it's a bunch of student group organizations, and so that's kind of just like my next experience I'll be having with it, and I just like, you know, I really do think just good is going to come from all this.
Yes.
I really do.
I do too.
Yeah.
And I think it goes back to, you know, you have a conscious decision to view others. You also have the conscious choice to put yourself in situations to see racism and like actually understand what's happening, because we don't know. We literally don't know. We're three white guys that don't have any clue. And since George Floyd's murder on Memorial Day, Deck and I kind of have, you know, owned up to that. Realized like, hey, we need to be a little more proactive. Yep. We need to be a lot more proactive. We had a conversation with Io and Aaron, who shared exactly what's going on in their head.
Two members of the Black community. And
Yeah.
Dude, some of the how long? We spent like 3.5 hours.
Yeah.
Oh, I watched a couple of those clips.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It was very powerful.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And we have the opportunity to have these conversations and open up between now three white guys. How are they feeling? How are they going to take action? How are they going to listen? How are they going to be proactive?
Yeah.
And yesterday I went to a Juneteenth thing in North Minneapolis, a little community gathering where they're playing music, handing out food, and just sitting around talking.
Yeah.
Super cool. I would have never been conscious to take that leap and been like, hey, I want to, you know, see what these people are feeling in this moment when, like, you know, it's the anniversary of the slavery being abolished. So it's been really awesome that the community is pushing how to, you know, work through the situation.
Yep.
And I don't think that's been done in the past. No. I don't know. We're 24 and we don't really know, but it feels like this has never been done.
No, not in my lean spruce 32 years.
100%.
You know?
Yeah, I totally. But again, it kind of goes back to the idea of just awareness. Like, we're aware that, you know, we haven't really experienced any sort of racism. We're aware of the fact that these people in the Black community absolutely have.
Yep.
And recognizing that, and then once you know that, it's like the obvious choice is to go and help. You know, why do you think thousands of people were out there helping in the community? Like, if you didn't get your ass up at 8:00 and get yourself the midway to help, if you showed up at 11, dude, it was all clean. Yep. Like, the people were there and ready to rumble.
Yep.
And just morning risers, man. The people in Minnesota are just killing it.
Yeah.
It was powerful. It's been powerful.
Yep. I love this. I love this city. I love this community. You know, and I really think that good is gonna come from this.
Yeah,
you know?
good is already happening, man.
Yeah.
Yes. If you drive down Hennepin,
good is already happening.
Good is already happening.
Good's been happening.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
More good is coming.
Right.
Good.
Which is like, dude, it's just what a crazy year it's already been, man. And it's so cool. Like, the story arc that we're on, if you look at it in the last 6 months, like
the Australian fires to start off the year. Go, like, you can work down the list of like just
Kobe.
And then Kobe passing away.
Yeah.
Like, these are global impacts.
Jerry,
like, everyone knew
Epstein.
the fires.
Jeffrey Epstein.
Yeah.
Can't forget about Jeff.
Dude,
Tiger King.
That got buried. Like,
quick.
Yeah. Things get So.
Fucking Tiger King was a part of that. 100%.
I never watched
yeah,
that.
I don't.
Good?
I mean, it was good.
But you knew of it. You knew what was
Yeah.
happening.
Oh yeah.
You knew enough.
But it's crazy because now, like, you know, we still got time. We got time on the clock. You know, and there's still good to be done.
Yep.
And it's something that I think it's a turning point. It's one of those things where it's like there's good happening. We need to make sure that the good continues to happen.
Turning point. I like that one.
Yeah.
I like that. Turning point is a good 2 words together.
Mm-hmm. And June 25th, there's gonna be a big turning point. Huge turning point.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's happening.
So speaking about other turning points, a lot of what we do on this podcast to continue to grow is to have or ask the challenge question. So, who do you think from your network of people that would be from your network? Who do you think would be a good fit or a good person to have on the Back Pocket?
I'm drawing a mental blank.
That's fine.
Yeah, let me think about that one.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, let me give that a little bit of marination, a little bit of patience.
Nice. Don't rush judgment.
I'm gonna let it slow cook for a little bit, and then I'll
crock pot
it, and then I'll think of something though.
Sweet.
Yeah,
No,
I want to make
perfect.
I want to make it the best possible selection.
Right
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because it is going to be a turning point with whoever you challenge us to get on. It'll be like, okay, perfect. That'll be a chapter.
Who's on your next show?
Do we have anything booked? Because Declan's going from Tucson and back once a month to record these podcasts.
Yeah, I saw your place, by the way. I fucking love that. Like I said, seriously, it's perfect. Like that, the outdoor kitchen area.
It's ridiculous.
And the shower. Like
literally nothing better than taking a shower outside. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah.
It's awesome. A little morning workout. We're right after it, man.
Yeah.
But man, it's real good stuff. Marcus, were you about to say something?
No, just our next guest.
Oh.
So yeah, we got a next guest. Her name's Ava, and she'll be here in July.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Yes.
Okay, so this is wild. So I think her name's Ava.Justin on Instagram. She's got like 175,000 followers.
Damn, that's
She's
like
like
174, 980 something more than me. So
Right.
Damn.
Yeah.
Exactly. We could, as the 4 white guys in this room, if you were to combine our following on Instagram, multiply it by 10, she would still have 100,000 more. But so she's 14, and she's a movie star.
Whoa. Okay.
And DM'd us on Instagram and was like, "Can I come on your show? I'd love to talk. I just released this new movie where I was a lead role and want to talk about it." And like, we didn't know she was 14 at the time. And then when we go to book, I'm like, "Yeah, we're gonna be available when I come back again, July 3rd or whatever." And she's like, "Okay, cool. Just send the calendar invite to my mom." And then I was like, "Your mom?" It's like I had to like circle back on my head, like do a quick pivot, and then yeah, we found out she's like 14, and I'm like, that is fucking so cool. We've never had a 14-year-old on the podcast.
Yeah.
Like, we've never really even had the opportunity. Now, like, we're going and searching for all this.
She was born in, what is that, 2006? That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
My youngest sister, so I'm the oldest of 5. My youngest sister is a junior in high school, so 8 years younger than me, 16 right now.
Yeah.
She's younger than her. That's crazy.
Yeah.
It's wild.
It's so nuts.
But it's
I'm
happening July 3rd.
July 3rd. That'll be
Yeah.
our next podcast.
Nice.
And then we got to fill
Maybe
a
even
couple
the
more.
second.
Yeah, second. Because the 3rd's a Friday, so we're not doing that.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, yeah, that's our next one. It's going to be crazy. She's originally she's a Kenyan American.
Okay.
So, pretty exciting stuff.
Kenyan American movie star, lots of Instagram followers. It should be a good conversation.
700,000 on TikTok, too, not to mention.
Yeah. She's
Crazy.
killing it.
Yeah. So, it's wild.
But I think this brings us to our final question.
Yes.
Sweet. Last question. What did you learn today? I know it's an early start here. You're not typically an early riser.
What time did you go to bed last night?
I went to bed at, it was probably like 1:45.
Oh, so
Right there
dude,
with
you
you,
got a
dude.
little, you
2
got an
a.m.
hour start into 2 hours into your day already on
Yeah.
the front end. Now you're catching up here.
Oh, I'm rearing and ready to go. No, I try to keep it in that 5.5 to 7 hours and 15-minute range. You know, that's kind of my range right there.
Wow,
so it wasn't
that's
too
an
bad.
incredibly specific range.
Yeah,
It's interesting.
Keep it in
That's
there.
questionable.
You don't want to undersleep. You don't want to oversleep. No. What did I learn? I mean, I really enjoy conversations. I would say just with other people, other individuals, duos, singular, whatever, you know, like that are just creating and like attacking their why, you know, and so just like it's like I don't know if there's like a specific I learned this, but it's like you guys did, to your point, it's like an energy, it's like a feeling, like I feel back-pocketed, you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like I'm in your back pocket and I'm all right there, you know, I'm like, yeah, I'm energized with it.
Boom. See, there it is. We didn't even have to ask the question. Came in with this.
Wow,
I'm
wow,
tired.
wait, you
It's
said
9 a.m.
Wow, low energy.
You
huh?
said it.
Oh,
shit.
Dude, these are your words.
Wait a
All right,
second,
all
dude.
right, all right.
It wasn't low energy. Maybe what would be the word we use? Questionable energy.
Questionable. Ooh, I like that.
Yeah.
Questionable
Okay.
energy. Like
the caffeine hadn't hit.
indecisive energy. Like my energy was like, what am I gonna be doing this morning?
I actually got another one for you.
Yeah.
Unknown energy.
Unknown energy.
Because you didn't open the box yet.
Yeah, but energy is just energy. You know what I mean? Like it's energy is.
Mm.
You know, we label with our brains what energy. It's good. It's bad. I didn't get that. I got that. Like we label, and energy is just a raw resource, and it's wherever you direct it. And you can take the worst energy, like when I didn't get the job at Target in February of 2018, and I had a final interview downtown Minneapolis, just blew it. And then like you just say to yourself, you're like, what am I gonna do with this energy? Good energy.
Good energy.
Put it in
Take
good
that.
energy.
Yeah, take that energy, that shit
Throw
you're
it.
feeling, and
Yeah.
dump it into something else.
Throw it into something else.
Avocadish, June
Yeah.
25th.
Yeah.
Let's
But
fucking
hey,
go,
I
dude.
just appreciate being on the show and having the conversation. So, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for being on, Alex.
Yeah, we'll be talking right after we get off the air too, so let's not pretend. Yeah, I'm like,
Yeah.
see ya. Bye guys.
Hey,
Yeah.
that's a wrap.
Awesome, bro. Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.